Wife of 12 years cheated and then moved out. My 34M, wife, 40F, of 12 years started an affair with a colleague less than a year after our child was born. I caught them chatting by pure accident, confronted her and was blamed that it was my fault, since I didn't pay her any attention since the child came. It's not that I have not paid attention. I noticed she was emotional, stressed and burdened by things around her and at work. So I stopped asking things from her, like being intimate or helping around the child or house. I shouldered it all so she could rest, since I thought that was what she needed. Knowing what I know now, she was probably looking for a way to break up and slash, or spend more time with AP. She said she would give us a chance and stop talking with him. I believed her, and about a year went until she said, "No, I can't anymore." I knew she was still talking with AP, found messages, etc. So she looked for an apartment and found one and moved out August last year. I helped her move, but she still spent a lot of time with me and our child until she decided in January of this year to move for real into her apartment. She said she needed to do this to find herself and to figure out what she wanted in life. I have read enough stories here to know what that means. Don't have any real proof, but I am very certain what she has been doing. I decided to make myself busy with other things, working out and attending work events, etc., to try to focus on myself. However, I missed our family regardless during all this time. I still do, but I would never admit that to her. I told my wife in the beginning, I will never come asking you for anything, and it all comes down to you if you want to commit to our family and solve this. But by the time that happens, there is no guarantee that I am interested in fixing it. Time goes by, and we sometimes on weekends do something together with our child. I get vibes that she is regretting and wants to fix things, but she never admits to it. But somehow I get the feeling it will be fine. Until last week, when I again by mistake saw that she is chatting with AP and declaring "I love you" to each other. That's when I decided enough already. I talked with her that evening and said I won't put up with this anymore. You are married and have a boyfriend at the same time. Let's just sign the divorce papers and be over with it. After a lot of talk and crying from her side, she signed it. I asked her no communications unless it's regarding our child. It's been barely a week since we signed the papers, but she writes to me short sentences about our child now and then. I am devastated since I probably had built up the expectations we would reconcile. But here we are. I am sad and down for the most part. I try to occupy my mind to not think, but it's just so hard. I want my family, but I hate what she has become and done to us. Sorry for bad formatting. Wrote on the phone. Update 1. First of all, I would like to thank everyone that read my previous post and gave me advice and support. It helped me really to cope with current situation. I am truly grateful. So now it's been 2 weeks since she signed the divorce papers and we got the process started. Since then, she has actually done what I asked of her, to keep our communication to an absolute minimum. During her days, she writes when she has picked up our child and when our child has fallen asleep. Sometimes sends a picture what they have been doing. I long for her messages, but as soon as I get them I feel disgusted. I on purpose wait before I answer them, to not give her any feeling that I miss to hear from her. Childish perhaps. I answer with short replies, and I try my best to not sound rude. I try to be kind but short. Replies that instantly kills any further conversation, if that makes sense. She has a week's vacation now and has a family friend over. So messages are down to 1 to 2 per day, since she doesn't have time for me off. We have been living separately since August last year, so we are used to by now to have shared custody. But since papers got signed, I feel more alone than ever. Coming home to an empty house after work sucks. I do what I need to. I prepare for the next day. I eat, and then I spend time here reading to try to shake the bad feelings away. I wrote in a previous reply that I found out that AP finally divorced his wife, and they are now registered on different addresses. Even though I know they have had an on and off thing going on for 2.5 years at least, this made it feel even worse, and most of all made the situation feel real. I would probably be Morok if she ends up dating someone else. But she finally having her AP feels like such a kick under the belt. But all is not grim. Most of my days I feel great. I get support from my family and friends, and I try to activate myself and doing things I have always wanted to try. But then evenings come, and I feel like shit again. Once again, thanks for reading my rants. Update 2. More days have passed, and I do my best to occupy myself, to stop thinking and stop feeling. Been attending after-works with colleagues and had visit from my dad last weekend. This weekend some friends are coming over. Lot of good things to keep me from feeling depressed. She stopped writing to me 4 days ago, this Monday, and has not told me anything what she and our child is doing. It really hurts not hearing anything from her. However, that is something I requested after signing the papers. That we go and see except when we need to discuss our child. Not a peep from her. I have tried gray rocking her from the day we signed the papers, a bit over 2 weeks ago. So I guess that is what is happening now. Tomorrow I am going there to pick our child up, and I can't shake the feeling she is pissed of, like all this is my fault, and she is punishing me with not writing anything. So not really looking forward to tomorrow. My depression, more like bad feelings, comes and goes every day. Some days better, some days worse. Still all this is so surreal, but I am hoping to wake up one day and not think of her, and this the first thing I do. Thanks for reading and for your amazing support. Story 2. Would I be the a-hole if I exposed a 70 years family secret? I, 34F, recently came to the realization after multiple ancestral genetic tests that my grandfather, deceased, was not the biological father of my dad, 69M. He's been gone 20 plus years now, but grandma, 85F, is still alive and well. Dad's bio father is also deceased, but I have found a person I am 99% sure is his half-sister, 50F, just 20 minutes away from us. There are at least 2 more siblings, and I think I found a third a few hours away. We are all very far from where they were born / where their families are from. Dad and grandma have had a strained relationship for years. All of his siblings have. I think he should know the truth and have the chance to understand why my results came back with such a significant percentage of one particular ancestral region that we had no inclination of previously, as well as why he doesn't look like any of the rest of his siblings. He strongly resembles the newly assumed bio-father. Mom, 61F, has forbidden me from telling him, as he's just started to get back on speaking terms with my grandmother. With all the family tension, I know this information could stir up a lot of drama, but I think he has a right to know. I'm aware of the internal conflict it's going to cause when he finds out, but also what an amazing experience it could be to have that open up. Extra background info. I became vaguely aware around high school age of a sibling of mine having been adopted, but Mom didn't admit it till I was in my 20s. She denied it to my younger sister, now 31F, and older half-brother, now 45M, from Dad's first marriage, until I told her I was looking for him. When I thought I found him, now 38M, several years later, she told me she knew where he was, always had, and he didn't want to be contacted. I respected that and dropped it. 6 months later, he was standing in her kitchen waiting to meet my children and I. I struggled for almost 15 years with the knowledge I had a brother out there. He was raised by an incredible couple, who I am so thankful for, but I know he struggled a bit with the lack of knowledge for a time as well. She may be his wife, but Mom really doesn't know what it's like to question who is out there, or where she came from, or to be confused about so much of what she believed to be her history, and I think I should tell Dad anyway. Why vitae? Update. It's been about 2 years since my OP. I got a couple messages asking for an update, so here goes. At first, everything was put on hold due to the impact of COVID-19 on our lives. When new routines started settling in, I decided to have a direct conversation with Grandma, keeping in mind the suggestion to approach the topic with sensitivity to possible mistreatment. She was firm that there was no negativity in her home life. After temporarily forgetting the probable bio-grandfather, she went back to her initial claim that they had casually dated to pass the time. I revisited the topic of, previously assumed, Grandpa's deployment to Germany. Although she wouldn't provide dates, she insisted he was stateside and they were married by the time Dad was conceived. I'm still waiting for a response to the Department of Defense. DOD/Veterans Affairs, VA, record request. A few weeks later, I spoke more with a likely half-aunt. I scheduled a time to talk candidly and privately with Grandma. Over the phone due to COVID concerns. She knew the purpose, and surprisingly, it was her idea. Then, on that exact morning, she passed away. Grandma had been temporarily in a nursing home, recovering from a UTI, and my aunt was arranging for home health assistance. It almost felt like she said, "You thought you had Nilo," and made her exit. The funeral had its share of unrelated drama. My half-brother, from Dad, and I decided to put the matter on hold while dealing with affairs and processing grief. After about a year, a chaotic cousin of ours did all available DNA tests. While he is difficult, he's also intelligent and likely figured things out by now. Concerned about him spreading the information, my brother and I decided to proactively address it. I spoke with Dad, sharing what I knew, believed, and the information obtained from Grandma before her passing. I provided him with whatever documentation I had. Dad's reaction was somewhat anticlimactic. He paced a bit, seemed indifferent, and said he wasn't sure if he believed it or even cared. I emphasized that he wasn't obligated to follow up, but if he had questions, I'd help him navigate the data. If he wanted to test for confirmation, I'd assist with that too. His probable half-sister is open to discussing and sharing information. In the 6 months since, Dad hasn't brought it up, and according to Mom, he hasn't discussed it with her either, but it's hard to know for sure. TLDR. The situation unfolded when I felt compelled to act, and the outcome so far has been somewhat anticlimactic. Thank you to everyone who provided input on my original post.